So everybody, you can see right here I've got cabbage with onions in between them, because onions are companion plants and they keep away pests. Also built a sunflower wall along the edge here, extending out here towards the other side. Another cabbage and onion bed. Pretty neat, huh? Now what I'm going to talk about today is pruning your tomatoes. Before I do that, I thought you'd like to enjoy the camel in the back. It's all blooming. Cabbage is doing well. Red acre cabbage. You can see that the celery is doing quite well. And of course there's companion plants, flowers planted here. I forget what exactly I planted, but it was companion. Then we're going to talk about the tomato bed, which unfortunately I didn't get my starts done soon enough. Okay, so we're going to talk about pruning tomatoes, and most tomatoes you want to do exactly this. So I'm going to show you how to prune tomatoes. Okay, so let's just jump right in and I'll show you what I'm going to do here. When you look at this, you have one main stem, and that's what you want to keep with your tomatoes. And all these lower stems, you want to snap them off, because all they're going to do is suck water out of your plant. See, they come right off when they're younger. It's a little bit more problems when you have them, when you buy them at the store, and they're these great big ones you just bought. And you may think, wow, he's snapping off a lot, right? What's going to happen to my tomato plant? Well, here's the point. I really want this to just grow straight up and branch out as few as branches as possible, so that it actually produces more tomatoes, bigger tomatoes. And so if you just prune your tomatoes like this, you can see that. I want to keep this stuff off the ground. You can see where it's on the ground already, all this stuff that's hitting the ground. That just invites bugs, disease, rot, all that good stuff. And of course some of these have more than one tomato, so this one right here, just pull these off, and I'll probably transplant one of these to a different location. But you can see right now I'm just snapping them off, the leaves, because I want to keep these I want to get them to about a foot or foot and a half tall, and then I can let them kind of just keep growing straight up and snap off all the little side ones that you really shouldn't have in there. This right here I'm going to leave for now, but I will snap it later. Let's do it now. I'm going to snap it now. So there you go. Okay, I wanted to make sure you saw this. I've snapped off everything up to this point, and some of this got cut off in the other video. You see I did these two and this one. By the way, if you get yellow leaves on your peppers, your tomatoes, stuff like that, and you know that you're got the right amount of water in, and you want to check the nutrients, and you're probably going to find that if you got yellow leaves on tomatoes and peppers stuff, you got a magnesium deficiency. What will fix that is azomite rock. You can buy that. It's listed on the website. It'll be listed below. You get a bag of azomite, and that will have all the mineral trace nutrients you need except for nitrogen. It's all natural. It's mined in southern Utah from an old seabed. So just in case you need to know that, you can also spray the leaves you mix up the Epsom salt with a quarter of water per teaspoon of Epsom salt, and then you spray it onto your leaves, and they absorb that and they'll stop turning yellow. But that's not going to solve the deficiency issue in the soil. That's why I suggest azomite rock dust. This is what we want to see when we prune our tomatoes. If you don't do this, they're going to grow in all kinds of directions. You're going to have so many sucker vines in there that you're not going to produce a good crop of tomatoes, of big healthy tomatoes, because they will suck down the water as they keep growing up and up and up. You don't want all this stuff in here sucking down all the water, producing smaller fruit, and generally you're going to get better results if you prune your tomatoes. Then I wanted to talk about was when you get rid of these sucker vines and prune your tomatoes. One person in a comment was Kansas Misfit, and they said that they normally grow about 40 of these plants every year, tomatoes, and they're only growing 12 this year. Well, I've got a very simple solution for you. The same thing I do with basil, and I'm pretty sure you can see the roots in there. Same thing I do with basil. You can take one basil plant and make 10, 12 plants out of it, and keep growing these, and then make another 10 to 12 plants out of the next basil transplant you do, just by simply rooting them. And it doesn't take long to root these if you take a look. About a week or two. These need to be planted right away. I just lost that one. Not perfect. So let's get to it, and I'll show you how to take care of the sucker vines, how to prune them to actually sprout them, because they are nightshade, and nightshades will generally, when you put the stem in there, will root within a week or two, and you'll have another tomato plant, and therefore you got backup plants. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so I got my sucker vines that I clipped, and generally you want to pick the biggest ones you can. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull the lower leaves off that I don't want. And I'm simply going to stick them in a jar of water. And I'll repeat this process. So I don't want those big leaves on there. Another one. Get rid of all these leaves down below. See if I can get that in the camera. So I just want one big long stem. And these will root within a week or two, and you'll have more tomato plants without planting seeds, and you'll be weeks ahead. Now, well, this one didn't need to be pruned at all. Well, maybe this one right here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick them in like the water like that and wait a week or two, and you'll have new plants to transplant into some pots or into the ground. Hey everybody, drop here. Well, you remember these? I clipped these, and they're starting to get a little milky in the water, and they did this about 6 days. I just haven't got around to planting them yet. The tomato prunings that I did, you see the roots are growing now, so I'm just going to pull these out. Get rid of that water. Oh, good mason jars. You can see all the roots that this formed. So I'm just going to go ahead and start planting these, because that one didn't make it. Here's one. Right here. I'm going to start planting these, and like I said before, you know, you can get yourself tomato plants just off the suckers. When you prune them, you can plant some more, and you're not starting from day one with one seed, and you're not paying $3.50 down at the store for a tomato plant. I mean, what would you rather do? Would you like to have to pay $3.50 for every one of these little plants? Because they're not very big when you get them at the store. Oh, by the way, I want you to look at this. See how that, when it was all the way in the water, the stem went all the way from where the water was in the water, rooted all the way. So the deeper you put the stem in there, the more roots you're going to get. And that's going to really help you. So I probably got about, well, I guess some of these just didn't quite make it, like this one. Barely anything on it. Probably won't plant it. These got rotten. That's why the water started turning yellow. Because I left them in there too long, got lazy. Now it goes. Sometimes you're just busy doing other stuff. Getting really busy with other stuff. But this one has a little root. Maybe it'll make it. Bear the stem as far as you can, because it'll root. It'll make this, get a better rooting system, and you'll be able to get more plant for it. Now, realistically, are these going to make it till the fall time? Maybe. But I'm going to build a whole row of these right here, and we'll see what I get out of them later in the year. So, if you like the video, subscribe, like, push the thumbs up button, and this concludes the pruning tomato plants, part 3, and this is the rooting of the vine and replanting them for extra plants without paying any money to the store or buying more seeds.